Welcome to the weekly Benefit Roast, featuring Benefit Indemnity Corporation's president, Rodger Bayne. Rodger has devoted more than 30 years to understanding and developing innovative health benefits plans for large groups and groups as small as 5 employees. Our moderator is Bob Graham. Take it away, Bob.
Hello. Welcome to the new year, the new decade. I'm so excited to be here with Rodger again, who's gotten up and left that quick. That's how it goes here. So a little behind the scenes. He's grabbing some water, I believe, or coffee. So let me tell you where we are. You are at the Benefit Roast, and you can see lovely cup of coffee right here, ready to drink. The Benefit Roast harkens back to a time when Rodger and brokers and others used to get together around the table, drink coffee, and talk about the state of healthcare. And here we are, what, some 15, 20 years later? 30 years?
I would like to harken back to the time that when you get your cup of coffee, you also get me a cup of coffee. So
yes.
Get up and leave in the middle of the webinar, Bob.
There is that. I don't even know what to do with that. But let's get to the good stuff today. So it's the Benefit Roast, and we have a topic for the month. It's January 2020, and our topic for the month is New Year, New Broker. A lot of the people listening are brokers. If you're not a broker, that's okay. Because if you're a small business owner, we're going to give you some valuable information that you can use to make better health benefit decisions. But if you're a broker, you are going to really want to stay involved in our discussion here. Rodger and I are going to be talking about new ideas for brokers, not just, the usual stuff, but really how to go about new ideas and why new ideas are so critical at this time with healthcare. So Rodger, you want to take it from there?
Sure, Bob, I'll take it from there. It's 2020. The dust, for the most part, is settling in. Right? Most of the fourth quarter dust is settling down for everyone. And we know that in those times leading up to the fourth quarter of every year since the passage of the ACA, and in the heart of the fourth quarter, everybody's too busy to think about anything new. They're not doing a whole lot of studying. They're not reading the news about what healthcare changed in what state and how initiatives are working or any of those things. But now as the dust begins to settle, it's time for us to really dig deep and prepare to be ready for next year's fourth quarter, and hopefully even to advance that role and get some edge on renewing some groups early with some of the newest innovations. I know they just renewed, many of them did in the fourth quarter, but yet there's things that we've missed. And this current time crunch that the ACA has caused by compressing the renewals into the fourth quarter instead of being more dispersed throughout the year, leaves us with our hands tied by time. And we're going to break those chains of time and actually get out there to our customers and start teaching about the new innovations. And when they find them, many of them won't want to wait until renewal to start saving money.
Okay, you mentioned time, which makes me want to think my share. If I could turn back time. Thank you.
Okay, Bob, we want to keep people online. We don't want them dropping off the call.
No, there are people right now laughing and going, that was a great share impression.
I hope they're laughing because look, 16 people just left the call.
Well, that's better than when you were speaking, there were 20.
So Bob, talk to me about what we're going to do to achieve education and growth for all of these brokers in the off season.
So first of all, I don't know if you could hear that because Rodger walked away to get his cup of coffee because I didn't provide it to him, my mistake. But we're going to talk about new ideas here. And with respect to the new ideas, how do we find new ideas and how do we welcome new ideas into our own life as brokers? And also, how do we communicate new ideas to our customers? Because if we don't absorb them ourselves and communicate them, they're wasted.
Well, there's a lot going on, and I think there's a lot more going on than most of us recognize or even understand. For example, I was a broker for years, and then I began building health plans. And believe it or not, the fourth quarter for me is not as crushed as it is for the brokers. My team is crushed, But my role where I work is in innovation and design and creativity and trying to stay out on the cutting edge. And nobody's doing that in the fourth quarter unless the groundwork was laid months prior.
Okay.
So what I do is I scope. I read selected articles, I read lots of stuff. I study things, I talk to vendors, believe it or not. I talk to more vendors than most of you reject in a day, right? So in talking to those vendors, I find out about the newest innovations and efforts, and I find out what is duplication of things that I already know. I find out what I haven't seen before, and I just keep digging and keep digging and keep designing and thinking and inventing. And so when we talk about this for all of the people online, my objective is to get them to do the same kinds of things when they can. But I understand your schedules are a little different. Your roles are a little different. So we want to lend you what we learn as a firm throughout the year from talking to the vendors and going to conferences and doing the amount of traveling that we do and talking to all the brokers all over the country. Because, you know, Bob, I travel all over the country talking to health underwriters organizations and other conferences and brokers. And
you talk a lot.
Because I talk a lot. Doctors, lawyers, doesn't matter who it is, but we try and get out there. And one of the things I find in most cities is that not even 1% of their brokerage community, of their professional health insurance brokers, actually show up at their local meetings.
Okay.
Now, think about that. These are meetings where we're out here to really help learn about what's going on, whether it's local legislation, whether it's national legislation, whether it's something else. So if you're missing that for whatever reason, some employers don't let every staff person go out and go to these meetings. They have office duties that they just can't. A lot of these meetings aren't on webinars. So what we're going to talk today about is getting that education in your hands and kind of laying out a game plan on where we're going with the benefit roast to help you stay abreast of the most cutting edge technologies, innovations, and changes in our business. Because most of you have heard of things like reference-based pricing, which is going through some very interesting changes, and it's going to go through some very interesting battles before it ultimately changes the face of what a PPO looks like. And then we're talking about international drug sourcing. And we're talking about prescription drug alternatives and prescription drug tourism, as well as even medical tourism, and how to get those things implemented into a health plan. And it's not easy because you can't do it in the fully insured side. You can only do this in self-funded business because when you're in the fully insured side, the carriers are doing what they do and you get nothing out of that. You get no transparency, you get no understanding. It's all lost in the mix of here's your product, here's your ACA rate, here's what we're going to do. That doesn't help your customer fully understand. And what's even better for all of you brokers on the line is that it doesn't help your prospect fully understand. And remember, every time you have a prospect, you are actually out there competing with another broker that likely hasn't shown many of these innovations to their customer, and they should have, and they haven't, and there's your opportunity. Your opportunity to win is by teaching your customers and your prospects about better ways to achieve a reduction in their number 2 overhead expense while keeping their employees happy by giving the same level of benefits or even better and improving the quality of healthcare that we deliver. That's a big deal. That's a big statement, Bob.
I'm going to jump into a question. I want to give Clay in Cleveland extra credit because I didn't explain how you could ask us questions, and he found the way to do it on his own. So kudos to you, Clay. If you want to ask us a question, you can go to the chat box and type in anything. We may try to be able, if you want to be on with us with audio, we'll try, but it doesn't always work as well as we'd like it to. But if you have a question, type it in there or a comment. So Clay from Cleveland says this, Rodger, I get all my training from the CEs I'm required to do by the state of Ohio. Is Clay right?
Well, Clay is absolutely right that he gets his CEs. But if all you're looking for is a continuing education credit, and you get any percentage of those online, You're getting stale, useless information that is a repeat, stagnant and boring repeat of what you've learned already. Unless it's a live online presentation like VAHU is doing. The Virginia Association of Health Underwriters does a 2-hour meeting or webinar, or maybe a 1 hour every month now, and it's live and it's guest speakers, and you'll get more information that way. But if you're doing a multiple choice test after reading a few chapters and answering a couple of questions, you're not gaining the education you need to help your customers. You're gaining the education you need to get your license renewed. And there's a big difference, right?
Right.
We all know that. So if we're out here with the objective of really trying to save our customers money, I'd have to ask the audience, what are they coming up with? I mean, how futile do we feel most days when we talk to our customer about which hospital in their local area is the best one to go to? Which one is the best surgeon admitting at that hospital? Or should they even be in the hospital for this particular surgery? These are questions we don't have the mechanics to understand in our normal preferred provider organization or insurance plan partnership. We just don't get it because they don't tell us.
Can I jump in with another
Please.
question? Evan in Dallas, and we're going to be in Dallas in just a couple days. Can't wait. Evan in Dallas has a really simple question. You're going to love this one. Where should I be looking for the type of information you're talking about?
Well, Evan, there's a real challenge in this. I will say this, not to toot my own horn, but to give you some tips. When I was a broker, ages ago, 1986 through 1992.
Who were you selling to, Gutenberg?
Yeah, I was an independent broker, and I didn't realize it until years later, but then I started bragging about what I did as a broker, because I spent almost half of my time as an independent broker speaking to carrier reps and vendors, whether it was the dental guy, the disability guy, the health insurance guy, the life insurance guy. It didn't matter. I didn't have any clients on day one, so I had time to learn. So I'd meet with reps and I'd learn about their products, and I'd learn about their competitors' products, and I'd learn about the industry, and I'd go to health underwriters meetings. Half of my time was in education and the other half was in selling and prospecting.
Okay.
And as you move forward in life, you don't always have that luxury. You know, it's like I said, when you start your own business, it's really easy to risk everything when you don't have anything, right? Once you achieve something, the next risk is a big risk, because now you have something that you're going to put on the line.
Yes.
And starting a new business again is a big risk. Well, that's where many of us are. We can't just start over. We can't go out and spend all of this time with carrier reps. In fact, many of our agencies relegate that to 1 hour every 2 weeks in a meeting on Thursdays or Mondays or whenever it may be. And that's when we have these lunch and learns, and we get a little bit, mostly sales pitch, less learning. So what I'm suggesting to you, Evan, right?
Yeah.
Evan, what I'm suggesting to you is that you have to talk to people that call you with new ideas to the extent that you can. We here at Benefit Indemnity and all of our friends and associates are going to do everything we can every Monday afternoon to bring you new education on new elements, but we're not the end all. We'll be posting things that are third party. We'll be posting our own stuff, and we'll be also suggesting to you other folks within the industry from whom you can learn. Bob mentioned we're going to Dallas. We're going to Dallas for a conference called Ascend. Ascend is all about growth for the professional insurance broker, right? Mostly independent agencies that want to grow their business and learn what's going on out there, what the new innovations are. And Ascend in Dallas will probably pull 200 of us together, along with some of the most innovative vendors and innovative minds in the business that are looking at prescription drug costs, medical management, reference-based pricing, and newer ways, better ways, interesting models on how to get to the same place that we aspire, but do it a better way because we've learned from what's not working. So the reality is, Evan, the answer to your question is very broad, but we're going to give you a starting point Monday afternoons at 3:30, most Monday afternoons at 3:30 for the whole year to get there and deliver cutting edge things that will help you achieve what you need to achieve.
Can I give
Because
you
your customer deserves that.
Can I give you a little different perspective? And this is one informed by, as you know, years ago I worked for an insurance publication, and I talked to a lot of agents and brokers as part of my job because it covered the trade industry, the insurance trade industry. And I was amazed at how many agents and brokers discounted the general media. And it was always funny to me because I think reading the Wall Street Journal, reading the New York Times, reading things like we read, 2 months ago when we went through Elizabeth Warren's campaign agenda for healthcare reform and picked it apart line by line, really looking at that source material, really seeing what people are doing. I think that also helps inform you because that's what your potential customer is looking at often, right?
So what we're saying today as we continue to work through this process is that every week we're going to bring you some in-depth cutting edge pieces. Some of it is going to be innovation. Some of it is going to be sales skills and prospecting and practice. And some of it is going to be just new things that you've never heard before and that you need to understand and really get to. And that's part of what we hope to do through the Benefit Roast. And we hope to continue to get questions and feedback and comments from all of you out there online, all over the country. And let's talk about what is most important to our customers. Because so often what our customers deliver, bottom line is keep my employees happy, do it for less.
Right.
That's all they care about. But what we don't translate into that often enough is that how do you achieve that? How do we keep their employees happy and do it for less if we're not improving the quality of care and thereby driving down the cost?
Is it really possible, Rodger, to improve the quality of care today? Or are we just at a place where it's just not possible with the cost equation?
But think about it. Improving the quality of care for every single individual might simply mean improving their selection process on their doctor. Right? It doesn't mean we have to fix care necessarily. It may not be a global improvement of healthcare, but if John is going to a doctor that scores 9 on the quality scale, instead of a doctor that scores 2 on the quality scale, we just improved John's healthcare. And by doing so, we're likely to reduce John's cost.
Okay.
So it may not necessarily be some global miracle where we improve the quality of healthcare in the nation and all of a sudden we have better results. But for every person we touch, we aim to improve their healthcare as an individual. And that's an admirable goal.
Yeah.
So if we can achieve that as professional insurance brokers, if you can tell your clients from now on, I'm not looking to save you money by getting you a better price health plan. I'm going to save you money, but I'm going to improve the quality of each one of your employees by giving them the needed direction they need when they need care, and especially when they need it most. That's a big deal.
Wow, that is a big deal. And I think we'll be talking a lot about that in February, I believe.
I think we will.
You've got some new things coming down the pike.
We do. We have new products and new designs and new ideas. And that's what you'll continue to learn throughout the year. I mean, we're kicking off 2020 today to kind of give you a primer of what it is. So if we don't get enough to the meaty stuff today, we certainly better at least catch your interest with just how deep we're going to go over the next 12 months.
Well,
2020 is a big year.
Let's give them something meaty right now, Rodger. Throw them a bone. Come on, give them something they would not get anywhere else that's really special.
I kind of just tipped it off a little bit in that one of the things that we've seen, everybody out there on this call knows what a preferred provider organization is and does and what it's supposed to do. And everybody remembers, at least most of you remember, when the books were printed. They look like little baby telephone books. This is our PPO directory. And when you open up that book, unlike an encyclopedia or a dictionary that has definitions and descriptions and education, when you open up a PPO directory, it's more like a phone book. It says who it is and how to find them. And that's all. It doesn't mention quality. It doesn't mention price. It doesn't mention the fact that this doctor on line 600 is 5 times the price of this doctor on line 601, and we're telling you to go to either one of them. So the change in the mission in improving quality for every one of your customers and every one of their employees is to allow each one of those employees access to a dynamic network of providers that is built around them when they need it the most. You pick up the phone, you say, I need knee surgery, and we're going to find you the best 3 knee guys in your marketplace. And we're going to build your network around those outcomes, those results, those quality records for those providers. And we're going to put you likely in ambulatory care centers where your care is guaranteed. So you get better care than going into a hospital facility and paying 10 times as much.
And running the risk of infection about
Running the risk
100
of
times more.
infection and complications and all the other things with no protection for that.
Correct.
Right? So we're going to talk about these centers that give you guarantees on your health care. We're going to talk about the advantages. We're going to talk about the money. We're going to talk about selection of providers. And that's just scratching the surface of some of the new things that we're going to talk about. But I think we have all just seemed to take it in stride that it's okay if a doctor botches my knee replacement and charges me again to do it right the next time.
That's a really good business model. If you're the doctor and you can mess it up and then charge again,
right?
I know plenty of auto mechanics and plumbers that would like to get in on that.
We would like to all do that, right? Mr. Goodwrench isn't going to be working on my knee.
He'd just be Mr. Wrench.
Right, Mr. Wrench. So anyway, the point is there are a number of new initiatives coming into the marketplace. And fortunately, there are new vendors every single day that can help us to improve quality. For example, on our health plans, January 1, i.e. 5 days ago, 6 days ago, we just implemented for free at our cost a new mobile application for every single employee covered in our block of business. And what that mobile app will do is give them 24-hour, 7 days a week access to customer service and patient advocacy, where they can pick up the phone and get guidance, direction, help, support, customer service, prescription drug transparency, costs, even geofencing. Talk about one of your employees, one of your clients heading into the big box pharmacy. And because he's heading into that pharmacy and he's got his telephone app on for his benefit plan, he gets a mobile alert that says, you know what, 3 blocks down the road is an independent private pharmacy that has better prices than going to the big box store for this prescription drug. Now, what's the value to that? Well, number one, you get a better price on the drug. Number two, you're likely to get better attention from that local pharmacist that's running an independent pharmacy. And number three, 65 cents of the dollar stays in your local community business instead of 39 cents staying in your local community business. There's a big difference, guys. So we need to take a look at every single element of what we do in our health plans and layer on services and efforts that are designed to drive down cost while improving quality. And those things are challenges for all of us. So if nothing else, that's what we're here for. We're going to help be your resource to deliver to you every week new advantages, new ways, and new developments that can help you achieve the best spend for your customers while enhancing or even improving the quality of healthcare right down to each individual employee.
Okay, well, I'm going to jump in with one more question because I want to make sure we're giving value here. Rodger, if I were a broker, what would you suggest I start talking to my customers or clients about to set the stage for some of these things that you're talking about us discussing in the coming months? Because if I've got to get schooled up as a broker, I would assume that I need to get my customers thinking in different ways. What can we do right now?
Well, here's the first thing, and I think you and I talked about this earlier, just preparing for these talks. One of the things that's most important to us is ask yourself when you talk to your customer. How often do you talk to your customer without a specific need or mission or problem to solve, or renewal. You've got renewal, you've got an annual review somewhere in the mid-year, you got a claims problem, you have something else. How often do you just pick up the phone, schedule a time to sit down with your client for an hour to talk about what's going on in the industry? Forget the mission. You can't have anything else on the agenda that day. There can't be any other item. There can't be a problem with the bill. There can't be a claims issue. There can't be anything. Just pick up the phone and talk to your customer. Talk to them about what's important to them. Talk to them about their satisfaction with the healthcare environment that they're in, not about their health plan and ABC carrier and how they're doing in customer service. Talk about the big picture, because your customers lose sight of that big picture because all you do is deliver a product and say it's the best we can do. It's more of the same this year. Separate yourself from everybody else when you sit down with your customer to say, it's not about more of the same anymore. It's about doing it better. It's about improving quality of healthcare. It's about making a difference. So when we get closer to a renewal or a mid-year meeting, they're primed to hear about that difference that you're ready to make, not only in the benefit plans, but conceivably in their life. Better quality healthcare saves lives. Better quality healthcare saves money. If you want better benefits for less money, let's get better healthcare in the hands of every single employee by giving them guidance that they've never had before.
Ann says thumbs up. Bill says nice job. And I can't see what that name is. Frank says, I agree with you completely. So this to me sounds like what politicians do, a listening tour, where you're going out and it's more of a discovery exercise where you're asking your clients what's going on. Am I understanding that correctly? Or is this me educating them on things?
Well, you're going to certainly educate them on things, but you might even educate them on things you can't do yet.
Okay.
But you know they're coming. Because by the time they roll around to renewal, you might find products with these pieces in them.
And it takes a while for them to understand because they're not healthcare experts.
Absolutely right. And if you're going to bombard them at renewal with all these new ideas when they're in the middle of a big change in the annual renewal and looking at the budget and a cost change and all of that, you're crushing them.
Right.
You know, I talked to Eric Silverman the other day. He's a big guy in the voluntary world of benefits.
He's not large. He's just high ranking.
Right. He just does a lot of good work.
And I just want to be clear.
And what he says that off year, adding some of the voluntary benefits off year is far better than trying to add them in the first time during the renewal process, because everybody has too many complications on their mind at that point.
That makes sense.
That same argument goes to what I'm trying to say about talking to your customer about innovation. Do it when there's nothing else on the plate. Because if they have other objectives for that day, they can't clear their minds for that. In fact, think about it. Most of you have been out on as many broker appointments as I ever was in my career, and maybe more, hopefully more, because I haven't been doing that piece of it in a while. But I've gone out with brokers all the time. And when you get through the whole agenda for the day and the business meeting is winding up, that's when the most valuable of conversations occur. Those last few minutes before you leave, you know, you did the talk about their kids and their grandkids and all that stuff in the beginning, and now there's nothing left on the plate. You did your small talk, you did your job, and now it's the time just to listen to your customer and have them listen to you with no agenda on either side, just to communicate. Well, I'm suggesting you schedule a meeting for that just communicate time. That's far more important than we give it credit. Pick up your phone, talk to your customers just about healthcare and the life and the world of our industry, and find out what's most important to them and what they think of some of the newer ideas that you're hearing about. We had a meeting today and we're talking about one of our newest innovations. And one response was, well, I don't like this. This sounds like something we tried before. And the other response was, wow, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Same exact piece, slightly different delivery, 2 different customers, and it can be that different.
Yeah.
So you have to talk to people about what's most important in getting to the root of this problem, not just the cheapest way to buy a health plan.
I also think it would improve retention.
Oh, it improves everything.
And they're going to call you when they have another question or problem. And if you can be that resource, Rodger, isn't that really the goal?
I will tell you, if you set yourself up as the broker that teaches the customer, that customer is never going to go to the other guy or gal. I mean, it's just not going to happen. They need to trust you. They need to rely on you. They need you to be there for them with all of the new ideas. And we're going to help position you to be that. And that's what's most important.
Steve says amen. And Willie says, I'm right there with you. I think talking to your customers is the single greatest thing you can do throughout the year. So it sounds like we've got some people that believe. We should probably wrap up now, Rodger. I've got the schedule in front of me. I want to just give people what's coming this month in January. It's New Year, New Broker time. Today we talked about new ideas. Next Monday, the 13th, we'll talk about new education, which will be interesting. On the 20th, we will be talking about a new work ethic. And on the last Monday of the month, we'll be talking about how to reduce the healthcare spend for your customers. And then in February, we're going to be talking about what you teased a little bit today, a new plan and a new approach to delivering health benefits. And then in March, I know you brokers are going to love this. I've been pushing for this for a while, how to put new spring, get it, spring, March. I like that. I thought of that. How to put new spring in your sales. And we're going to be providing tips, how to build your network, how to find success in your neighborhood, engaging your customers in innovation. My favorite of all, March 23rd, dare to role play.
There you go. Now, just for all of you out there, when we're doing these webinars, we can see this long list of attendees. And sometimes we have these little yellow caution signs that tell us you're not paying attention. And I just have to tell you, you're really missing some good eye rolls when Bob says corny stuff like that. So just, you may want to watch now and again, every once in a while, the body language and the gestures is part of the meaning here. But I know you're all busy, so I understand.
Well, with
anyway, that being said, tune in next week. We want to thank you all for being here like we always do. I believe Dana's online and is going to send you all a text really quickly that says how to get your coffee coupon for joining us.
Link in the chat.
It's going to be a link in the chat box and it will be coming to you now if it's not already
there. Fill out the whole form.
Look at that. So first of all, you've got, actually second of all, you've got my number for information, but you have a link in your chat form today. Please fill out the form because we can't send you a coupon for $5 worth of coffee if you don't send us the information to whom we should send it.
The full address. We need a full name and a full address.
Right, we do this by mail, so it's important that we get it. This is an old school thing. We're giving you a hard quality coupon for your
that's works in any enterprise that takes American money, right?
Right.
There you go. I finally figured out how to say it.
So anyway, guys, thank you all very much for being here.
Why don't you tell them how to reach you? Because they may have additional questions.
I think that's in the chat box too. If you scroll down, you see
for us, though.
In my email, you see my email address and you see my phone number directly to my desk, 443-275-7412. Anytime at my desk. If I'm not at my desk, just leave a message. I'll get there. I do travel a bit, but we're always around. I have a question on the screen coming up again. One more that's coming up.
I like it.
And I don't see a question in it.
Oh, there it goes.
Oh, so that's just somebody apologizing for thinking they're setting it. But anyway.
That's someone who figured out how to use the system. I give you credit.
Tammy, you're okay with me. Don't worry about it.
Thank you for listening, Tammy and everyone else. We will be back next week with much more detail. We'll be talking about new education. It's going to be really great and really useful. So I hope to see you all back next week. Until then, have a great week.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
You've been listening to the Benefit Roast, a weekly discussion sponsored by Benefit Indemnity Corporation. Employers in a wide range of fields are using employer-owned health benefits plans to deliver better benefits to their employees at a lower cost. Learn more at benefitindemnity.co. That's benefitindemnity.co. See you again next week.